This is the EVP Podcast. That's right. This is the EVP Podcast, and Beaker is touching my weenus.
Not right
again.
now. I can right now. Woo.
It's on camera.
Ghosty don't play that.
It's on the YouTube.
Hey, this is DVO, and joining me is
I'm Beaker.
the weenus toucher,
And I'm Ghosty.
the dirty one.
Yeah, you know.
He likes to ghost people.
Yeah, he's always ghosted people.
I'm
Yeah.
getting ghost touches on my butt.
This is true. I was there. It wasn't
were.
me. I didn't do it.
It's physically impossible.
My
You
arms
were
aren't that
standing.
long. I was standing in front of him. We were
You
face to
touching my
face.
butt?
We were getting ready to like kiss, and then all of a sudden his butt got touched. And then
Ruined
he said
the
it was
moment.
me. Like it wasn't me though. Like I would have told him if I was going to do that. I'd be like, I'm grabbing your ass. Let's do this.
It was so intimate. It could have been.
It could have been even better if Patrick Wilson was there serenading with his guitar.
No, we've moved
my
past
God.
that. Like we're done with The Conjuring. We're done with Patrick Wilson. I've moved
We'll
on.
never stop.
I moved on.
I love him too.
You know, he did actually another James Wan movie, which is the Insidious series. The
Yes.
first two, anyways, he was in. I really like.
Is there
those movies.
3?
There's 4 movies.
Oh,
actually.
that's right. Yes.
I didn't know that.
So
I saw the
basically,
first
if you
one.
were to watch Insidious, you got Insidious 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you wanted to watch them in chronological order, or I guess the order that like the story takes place,
That'd be
you would
right.
basically watch
3.
4, 3, 1, 2.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Well, I don't like that at all.
3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our little series of the deep dive into the Conjuring movies. But while we were recording this,
I
actually,
finally admit that the Warrens aren't as bad as I've been
yes.
saying.
Now, again, on we released the episode of us doing an interview with Andrea Perrin a couple years ago. But why we did that is because we were actually doing some adventures of our own. And Ghosty and myself, we were out in Viva Las Vegas. So we'll talk about
Viva
that.
Las Vegas.
And Beaker was here with some of our podcast friends, Lurch and Dave and Peaches, Brandy. And you guys did a little adventure as well.
We did. I actually had a friend from work as well that was celebrating his birthday. The reason why we were having this big celebration, though, is a friend of ours, a good friend of ours, I don't think you guys met him, a good friend of mine and Peaches, him and his wife got a job offer in Ohio. And they actually, as of this recording, left yesterday, but as you guys hear this, it'll be like a week ago. Podcasting magic, and I just ruined it. Yeah, him and his wife were moving to Ohio, and so we wanted to do something fun with him before they left.
And I'm sure they're huge fans of the podcast.
I probably
Yeah,
should.
sure.
They
Yes.
should. They are huge fans. He's 7'1". He makes me look small. So yes,
geez.
huge. He's a huge fan. His wife
Yeah.
is like 5'1". So she's not
She's a
as
little
big of a
fan.
fan. She's a little fan.
She's
She's a little fan. So Brandy actually put together. Every now and then we get together. You not so much, but.
I got a lot of things to do.
We like once a month we try to get together for like a game night, and for July we decided to do an escape room.
Okay.
And Brandy was going to try to she wanted to surprise us with the theme of the escape room, until she started reading about it, and like you have to sign waivers, and there was talks about strobing lights and claustrophobia and all sorts of stuff. So she had to reveal to us beforehand what we were getting into.
So if you guys are not aware what an escape room is, they basically lock you in a room and you have 24 hours or you die. And they had 24 hours to escape this room or they were all going to die in
It
this
was
room.
an hour.
24 hours.
Yeah.
24 hours is a long
And then you
time.
die.
And
Yeah, and then you die.
Yeah.
Because no food or water in 24 hours causes your death.
Well, no, there's poison gas that gets leaked into the room and you
yes.
die.
Yeah, pretty
Depends
much.
on the room.
Depends.
Yeah,
on,
sometimes
not
there's-
this
You
room.
might drown in some.
Yeah, some rooms
So-
drown you.
Lava could be a
Lava. The
dangerous
floor
thing.
is lava.
So that's what an escape room is if you're not unfamiliar
You
with
die
it.
if you don't get out.
You die if you
Die.
don't get out in 24
There
hours.
is a god awful game show on Netflix called The Floor is Lava.
It is terrible.
Terrible, and I watched both seasons of it.
You did? I watched one episode. I was like, nope.
I watched
I'm-
both seasons, and the whole time I'm just like, why do I hate myself? Anyways, Yeah, an escape room. So you have an hour to escape,
Oh, sorry, or you die.
or you die, or you die. In this particular themed escape room, that was actually the case. Is you didn't die in real life. You died in the game.
Pretend life.
Pretend life. But we did, and they're not endorsing this because, I know they're huge fans, but they don't want to sponsor us yet. But Alcatraz escape games in Draper, Utah.
Not as huge of a fan as Patrick Wilson is of our podcast,
no,
but
he endorses
pretty
us.
close.
Yeah, he sponsors us.
Thanks,
he bought
Alcatraz.
us each a Coke once.
Sponsored our
Coconut.
baseball league.
Coke, yeah, it's fun. He bought us a Coke and hot dog. He took us to Pizza Hut after
Big game.
the big game where I played right field because you got to know how to catch.
Oh, the
and
one
you
I
gotta
hit the
know how to
grand
throw.
slam in?
Do you remember that commercial?
I do.
The 80s Pizza Hut commercial? I play right field. So after we won the big game, the baseball fell into my glove. And because I know how to throw and I know how to catch, Patrick Wilson took us to Pizza Hut to
took us?
celebrate. He took us. What?
Patrick Wilson took us.
Took us.
You know how catches took us?
Yeah. Uh-huh. The hell are we talking about? Escape room. Alcatraz escape games. They have several different themed ones. They have like a prison escape. They have a zombie one. They have some family friendly ones with like a wizard and stuff. We chose, and I did not know this at the time. We chose
Sounds like Bill Cosby right there.
we did not know this at the time. We went to the escape room.
That's good. That's good.
We went in there, and there was no chocolate pudding when we started, but it was definitely at the end. You know who's funny? Bill Cosby.
That's good.
Boy, I'll tell you what. That Bill Cosby, he's a funny guy.
That boy ain't right.
I do voices. Bobby, what in the hell? Get back to bed. It's 1:00 in the morning. We're tired. So yeah, it was this room was actually called Chloe. Doesn't sound scary, but
So you didn't know what at the time?
I didn't know. I watched this terrible intro video that they have on their YouTube of people in the escape room. They try to make it look like it's an actual like a haunted like a horror film.
Okay.
Horror film.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of cool because they do show some of the stuff in the escape room in that video, but the acting is just terrible. But it was really fun. So the whole concept of the escape room is there's a ghost of a 7-year-old girl named Chloe, and you're trying to free her soul from the house that she's trapped in. And when you get in, like you're basically trying to find 5 different totems. And in one of the rooms, you're supposed to place all the totems. It's like there's like a pentagram on the ground. You're supposed to place the totems around the pentagram.
They're under the bed and under the house.
We looked under the bed. There wasn't anything under the bed. Yeah, so you're supposed to find all these totems. And once you put them on the ground, you conduct a seance by standing in a circle, holding hands, and yelling seance, and you win.
Okay.
We did not win. If you saw my post on the social medias when we finished with the escape room, we did get the wonderful cards that said loser on them. And I was thoroughly upset when we finished this because I was pissed that we didn't do very good at all. So 5
No one
totems,
does on these
like
things.
5 totems, right? You're supposed to find 5 totems.
Yeah.
We found one, and it's because the ghost handed it to us. They actually had an actress dressed up as a ghost and was kind of sort of giving hints, but not really.
You guys need help. Here's one.
Yeah. She gave us one of the totems. And that's the only reason why we found one totem of the 5. And we got to 5 of the 6 rooms. So we didn't even get to the last room in the hour. But I was mad because we did so bad. So bad.
There was 5 rooms that you went to. You're supposed to find totem at each one. You've missed them all.
Except for the one she gave us.
You guys at least
We
get one
literally
of these.
missed every single totem. We couldn't find out, like most of the puzzles we couldn't find out. It was very complicated, and I found out after the fact. I looked on their website, and there is like a 5% chance of actually winning this escape room. And after that, I was not mad anymore. And Dave actually said he felt 95% better when I told him that. But the whole theme is like you're in this haunted house, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to free this girl's spirit. But there's certain things that you can do while you're in there that will piss off the spirit and make it more difficult, I guess. One thing is like they had parts of the escape room where like it's very dimly lit to begin with, so you can barely see. They had us lock all of our phones and everything into a locker. We couldn't take any light source in there with us. And so we had to find like flashlights while we were searching and investigating, basically.
Okay.
And there would be times where they would completely shut off all the lights. So you'd be standing in pitch dark. And you had to turn your flashlights off or cover them up or whatever, put them in your pocket and cover it up. Because if you didn't, it would anger the spirit, more or less. And they did this a lot throughout the escape room. And they told us like when the lights went out, you're supposed to like huddle up into your group because Chloe's moving around at that time and they don't want her to bump into you.
The
or
actress
to bump into her. The actress.
in the sheet going around going, ooh.
No, so
Chloe.
she actually looked like Samara from The Ring.
Oh, okay.
White painted body, like white paint.
White dress, long black hair kind of over her face.
Oh, it's like
Like when she's climbing out of the well and stuff like that. So that's kind of what they had the ghost look like. And it was hard. It was very difficult. But it was very much fun at the same time. Like I want to go back and do this.
Those
again.
things are hard.
Have you done an escape room before?
I did one at an old job for like a team building event.
I think I've done 2 now.
I'm not a huge fan.
This was my first one.
So the first time I went, the very first thing that they did in the first room was they handcuffed us all to like a wire.
Ooh,
that
kinky.
Did they put a burlap sack over your head?
No. Yes, they did. As they walked us into this place.
Okay, so this had to have been the same one a friend of mine was telling me about because they did the same thing.
The castle one.
Oh, was
in
it?
Midvale, yeah.
Oh, the Castle Chaos does a bunch of them. They have some paranormal one. They have a paranormal themed one as well that I want to try out.
This one was I think a serial killer one, and then you had to like find all the clues. Anyways, when we were all handcuffed to this wire, we had to like find the key and get out. It took us they actually had to tell us where the key was because we could not get out. And then once we got the gist of it, how the whole clue things work, because we were just like looking for a key. We didn't know how to look for clues.
Yeah.
And then the clues will tell us where the key is. We're just like, I can't find a damn key anywhere.
We couldn't get out of the first room. I don't know if we figured out how to get out of the first room or if they just felt bad for us and opened the door.
Yeah, we felt bad about it. But
They're going to spend the whole time in this damn room.
They
Yeah,
spent
they
the
opened-
whole hour handcuffed.
They opened the door for us to the second room, and like we're still searching around. Like none of us went to the second room. We're like, oh, cool, the door's open, and kept searching in the first room because we were trying to find the totems. And then they opened up the main entrance into the escape room, and then yelled at us. They're like, go into the kitchen. We're like, okay. But it was so much fun. But I have heard of ones where like they put a bag over your head and like handcuff you up, and you have to like while still handcuffed try to figure out how to take the bag off and get yourself out of the handcuffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but it's so fun at the same
So
time.
the place that you went to was called Alcatraz.
Alcatraz Escape Games. It's in Draper, Utah.
But I would love to investigate the real Alcatraz out in San Francisco.
That would be fun. It's funny. I read one of the reviews for Alcatraz, and the escape room, and someone was like, "Yeah, you had to get up really early and ride the boat," and like their comment was like, "I think you're having us confused with the actual Alcatraz. We're an escape room in Utah, but feel free to come try us out sometime." There's a lot of places in California I want to investigate. There's a Queen Mary. There's Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I've been to the Winchester Mansion. I would love to go check out the Whaley House that we talked about in like our second episode. There's this really big house. I don't know if it's haunted or not. It's off the coast north of LA where this like really rich dude had like his own like zoo and like this really nice like
Neverland Ranch?
No. No.
You want to investigate that?
No.
I
no,
would,
no.
yeah. I would investigate it.
No. Skywalker Ranch.
Bubbles. I'm
Investigate
going to find
that.
Bubbles.
Bubbles the clown. Bubbles the
The
gorilla.
monkey. The chimp.
So, yeah, overall it was fun.
Okay.
It was definitely I think they did really well with the theme, what they were going for.
I'm glad Chloe didn't get you guys.
No, so they ran in and they're like, run, she's gonna kill you, and they opened all the doors and made us we walked out, and they're like, "That's not running," and
Say that's dangerous, you guys.
I'm running in the dark. I'm not doing that. But it was really fun. I had a great time, and I wouldn't mind going back, even though I know I'm not going to win this thing.
Yeah, the likelihood of you winning, unless you do these often, it's
especially this one where they say
exercise
the
for your
success
brain.
rate. The success rate of this particular escape room is 5%.
Well, the one that I did, no one had passed it yet, and then my selfish ass was like, "Hey guys, let's do that one," and it was terrible. My first one too.
Yeah,
we
we picked that one because it was a paranormal themed
Yeah.
escape room.
I would have too.
So I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know until afterwards that it was a 5% chance of winning. Like their easiest one, I guess, is their wizard, like Harry Potter type one, is like a 50% chance of escaping.
That's what I would do first to build my confidence.
Yeah, no, we straight up started right from. I even asked them while there. I'm like, did we pick like the hardest one? And she's like, yeah, you guys did. I mean, it was difficult. Couldn't figure half the shit out, but it was. I had a good time.
Now let's travel to Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas, that
Yes.
is.
Viva Las
As I said
Vegas.
earlier, Viva Las Vegas, and it was a scorcher out there.
Oh goddamn, it was hot as shit. It was so damn hot out there.
We got there at 10 p.m. and we were sweating at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
sweating.
well, that's Vegas for you.
So if you guys don't know the Haunted Museum, so Zach Baggins, huge fan of the podcast, invited the EVP
Wait,
team
did we
out.
establish that he was a fan of the podcast?
Oh yeah, big time. And he invited the EVP team
Probably
out.
like 6 foot something.
Oh, huge fan. He's not fat.
He invited the
tall.
EVP team, but Beaker couldn't come. He had prior engagements to go to an escape room. So
Actually, I was going to Colorado the day before. The guys, I think the night you did the museum, I was in Colorado.
okay, nice excuse. Real life one though.
But
So
no, real life
so only
Colorado.
me and Ghosty went.
I was on a 12-hour drive to Colorado and back.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
Vegas would have been half that.
Yeah, you were way
Would have
better
been the
off.
same. It would have been the same.
You should have just went to Vegas then.
I should have, but weed's cheaper in Colorado.
You're right.
So we're down there. Me and Ghosty are down in Vegas. We go to the museum. So if you guys don't know, Zach Baggins has this museum from items he's collected from people all over the world, either from their investigations or gifted to them, and he has stored them in this old house. What was this house? It was just a family owned it, right? Just a family owned this house.
Well, it was one of the. Oh gosh, we learned about it all.
Yeah, because you took the tour.
Yeah, I've taken the tour. That was a few years back. I took a tour. Then this one was an investigation where it's not like a tour where somebody's guiding you from room to room and telling you what it's about. This is just like half this house this team gets, the other half that house the other half the team gets, and then we switch halfway through.
Yeah, so the tours, there's 2 tours in the day. They end at 10 p.m., and that's when you can do this investigation.
How big is this place?
It's pretty big. It's
Like 5,000 or no more than that, maybe 6,000 square feet.
yeah, it's a good sized house, and they've got memorabilia from movies, and they've got all sorts of kind of cool stuff in there, and it's just all kind of cluttered together. Now, I didn't take the tour, so I don't really know what everything is. Ghosty took the tour at one point, kind of learned a little bit of everything, but yeah, how they do it is after the tours, they turn all the lights off and they let 20 people in, and they split it into 10 and 10. Like Ghosty said, half the team goes to the
front of the
back
house.
of the house for 45 minutes. The other team in the front, and then they switch at that point, and then they go for another 45 minutes. So you're there for an hour and a half investigating. And
That seems like such a short time.
It does. It doesn't give you any time to just like sit and be quiet and like just wait, because then you'll run out of time real fast.
yeah,
So-
I mean, it would be nice to be like, but I get why they don't want people there all night
Because they're paying a crew of people.
Yeah, they're not interfering, so they have a security guard and like maybe 3 employees, and they're just kind of there in case you need them. But they're out
They're
of your way.
watching. Yeah, they're watching and kind of guiding. If you need to go to the bathroom or something, they can kind of guide you where to go.
The lights are totally off. That's why they call it the flashlight tour, because you're literally given a souvenir flashlight.
No phones.
No phones allowed.
How much are they paying these people? Because they literally, like, if you got 20 of you there,
That's a lot of money right there. I
That's
was
like-
counting it all up. When
that's
I
like
went to.
$4,000
Yeah.
for like an hour and a half of
Yeah.
work. So I was just like, if we're talking, your lights are out, so you're not paying for electricity at this time. How much are they actually paying those
That's a
people
good
that are there? It's like
Paying for the AC.
we just made $4,000 for an hour and a half of people sitting in the dark.
That's how you make money, man. That's how you make money. You're gonna open
So
up
you
a
think
place
they
like this.
they
You're gonna
could
learn
let
how
you go
to.
for a little bit longer.
They should have done at least like an hour and a half, hour and a half.
I think that would have been better.
That would at least give you time to like sit and like try to like get more evidence. So we were just more actively just like going place to place trying to get activity.
But it was like you really didn't hear too many people in certain parts. Like for example, we started in the first half, the front of the house. When we got to the second half, the back of the house, we didn't really see anybody. Like I don't know where everyone was at actually. I'm like, where is everybody? Like we were like almost
We were
felt
just like wandering
alone.
around like we got this whole house to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then like when everybody was like grouping together, like damn, where the hell these people come from?
Yeah, where were you guys at? But we won't go into the whole detail of the whole house, but we'll kind of get into some detail in a couple areas. So Beaker was with us in spirit with a voice recorder.
Yeah.
So
I was like, I can't go. I'm like, do you guys have a recorder? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I'm gonna send you with mine.
Yes, we played yours. So you have an hour and a half of audio on here, and you'll review this and let us know if you hear anything, right?
Hey, Nicole, I have an hour and a half worth of audio.
Tell us all about it. So let's get into it. So we start off in the first half of the house.
Yeah, I'll talk about
The front half.
Where I wanted to go right off the bat was the basement.
Because
When I first went there a few years back, I was getting a ton of energy coming from the basement. I was seeing things in my third eye where I was seeing like cloaked figures walking back and forth from at the bottom of the stairs. And so I'm just like, I want to go down there. At the time, because we're on the tour, it was off limits. The basement was off limits. On this, things have changed in that house since I had been. One of the things is now that they allow you in the basement. But the basement is not the full basement. You get a little section of the basement. And what they did was they built like, it looks like fake walls that make it unnecessary walls, pretty much, just to close off a section of the basement at the bottom of the stairs. So you're forced to follow this hallway. Right as soon as at the bottom of the stairs, you're just automatically turning right.
Kind of like in a haunted house where they guide you through.
Yes, and it's just like a haunted house hallway, and it goes like it does like a little spiral back into itself, and then it opens up into a room. So it's just like a little circle cut out of the basement is all you get, and it's just a hallway walking around it, and then back into this little circle of a room that makes it looks like a seance room.
they got a pentagram painted on the floor, some candles, some icons.
And I wonder if they were trying to like make a replicate what they had found in the basement before, maybe, if knowing that there was like seances and devil worshiping going on down there.
Yeah, a former resident of the home has confirmed with Zach and his team that there was seances and devil worshiping in the basement.
And so it looks like they just try to recreate that look in the basement, but at the same time they cut off most of the basement. And we got no activity in there at all. And I was just like, this is weird. I'm not feeling anything down in here.
We did get the ghost meter go off a couple times.
But it wasn't anything significant.
Mm-mm.
And there wasn't there wasn't, like, even on the spirit box, no voices, no EMF on the K2. And yeah, the Ghost Meter Pro had like a hit once, and it was,
that was just in the basement.
That was just in the basement.
So I know on a lot of our investigations we take, like I have my digital audio recorder. We have like the K2 meter, the Ghost Meter Pro, SPA7 spirit box. I know you have like a couple different spirit boxes.
Echo Vox.
Before it was stolen, I had a really expensive 4K night vision camera that I would take on investigations. So was there, I already know the answer to this, but this is more for people that might be interested in investigating there. What did they allow and what did they not allow you to take as far as equipment goes?
Nothing with a lit, like a phone screen face. So like tablets and phones, no. So like any type of phone app that you were going to try to use, no. Like your phone has to stay in your pocket the whole time.
So I wouldn't be able to pull out like my Echo Vox
No.
or use like my Geophone app or anything like that.
Nope. Any type of phone or tablet that gets taken out, because they're watching everyone on cameras. So if anyone pulls anything out, whether or not you recorded anything, you're automatically escorted out. So no apps, but like...
Well, apps are pointless in general. Like the Geophone app, I mentioned that one, and this is not one that you can get anymore. I don't think they make it anymore. But all the Geophone does is feel vibrations. And I've actually tested this on my phone before, being in a underground room at a building up in Ogden, having this on the cement floor. And I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. Jumping up and down on the concrete around my phone, not setting this thing off. That's the whole thing on this phone. Is it just, if you tap the phone or if it feels vibrations, it will light up and beep at you. That's the only app that I recommend. Which, like I said, unfortunately, I don't think they make it anymore. That's other than that, I really don't do apps on the phone. I don't think people should. I know there's people that swear by them. The Echo Box is another one that I use. But other than that, I've tried different apps just because people are like, I swear this works, and I've tried them, and I'm just like,
I think the only thing that's really good on the phone is just like feeling vibrations like that, or any type of spirit box, radio sweeping device or radio sweeping app. That would be a good thing to use. Other than those, I don't think those Ghost Radar are so stupid.
Ghost Radar Classic,
so stupid. But anyways,
people swear by those.
You can't use any type of thing with a screen. So phones, tablets, or no.
Not even the flashlight on your phone. You're not even allowed. They give you that flashlight.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the flashlight tour, and they give you a flashlight, so that's your light. You don't need a phone light.
So I'm assuming they don't want you to take any sort of pictures or video or anything like that. So I couldn't bring in I couldn't bring in like my Sony Handycam. I couldn't bring in my camcorders, my CyberShot. I guess
no pictures, no moving pictures.
And you can bring your own. Like you could bring your own. Like we brought our Ghost Meter Pro and our K2. Those were fine. They also had some there that you could borrow.
So you could borrow a K2 or you can borrow an SP7.
What about like a pendulum or dowsing rods?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you could if you had.
Unless you have a dowsing rod with a screen on it.
I use pendulums.
So yeah, the basement was super off. Like I wasn't getting no vibes from the basement like I was before. I was totally thrown off by the way that was looking too, because the way I saw it in my head was just a wide open basement, and all of a sudden we go down there and it's just like this little haunted house hallway that you follow into a spiral.
That seems silly.
Yeah, but I think they closed that off because the rest of the basement's for storage.
Ah, that would make sense.
And I think I wasn't getting any type of feelings down in there, because I'm wondering if they had to like get rid of some stuff down there. If maybe them putting up those false walls or that little hallway stuff, any type of remodeling things could set off some type of spirit energy that maybe they may. I don't know. I doubt they would want to get rid of stuff, but maybe they just kind of had to move it out of there or something. But I was getting no vibes down there anymore.
So they went back up, and we weren't there down in the basement too long. Went back upstairs to the main floor and just kind of popped in a couple of rooms. I mean, like you said, you kind of feel rushed because you're limited on time.
Right. It's like, hey, we got 45 minutes on this whole half of this house. Like, let's go room to room, check things out. We didn't want to spend too much time in the basement, especially since we weren't getting much activity. It was like, yeah, let's not waste any more time down here. Let's keep going. But we did get some interaction in one of the rooms. It's one of the first couple rooms that you walk into when you first do a tour of the house, if you were going just to the museum. The first couple rooms there, we were getting some activity with the K2, and we were getting some interaction with the K2. And what was cool on this one was we were getting it was lighting up. We were getting interaction on the Ghost Meter Pro and kind of talking to the spirit of this girl.
You're talking about that main room?
Yeah.
We also noticed that on the K2 was kind of... So in this room, there's also some devices plugged in to the wall. Like there's like that... Remember that Zoltaire that tells your fortune? There's one of those, but there's also one of... It's actually like a Zach with a top hat. But those things were plugged in. Those were giving off K2s. And remember there was a wall that also we were getting some EMF readings through the wall. So in that main room, it was really hard to tell what was the spirit. So
if you had electronics on, you probably were getting some ambient.
Right. So we weren't using the K2. Like once we've realized where we were getting readings at and kind of following what it was, the K2 readings in there, we weren't really paying any attention.
Debunked.
Yeah, but the next room next to it,
It was like a saloon theme. So they had, a couple mannequins. And that's kind of creepy too. There's
looks like
random
they're playing,
mannequins.
Yeah, they're playing
throughout
poker
the
on
place.
a table. Looks like a whole saloon.
I think they had some Wyatt Earp.
Oh, they had
things.
Wyatt Earp's diary.
Yeah, they had some. Actually, it was a cool little room actually. But that's where, and we swept the room with a K2 meter and clean.
Yeah, that room didn't have anything plugged in, and we were getting no K2 readings from anything. But then we were getting random blips that were just popping off and setting it off. Then with the Ghost Meter Pro, speaking with a couple other spirits, and then the K2 would start kind of going off to like the second light and kind of go in there and then go to the third and then stop, and then I would start to encourage it to hold, and I would start egging it on to not like provoking, but like encouraging it to get stronger or to hold it there longer. And it was interacting, and it was holding, and then it would try to get stronger. Like how high were we getting it in that room? Did we get it all the way to the red?
Definitely to the orange, which was the fourth light. Definitely we were getting
4
to
out
orange.
of the 5 lights.
We might have. I can't remember for sure, but I know for sure we were getting to the orange.
And the more I was encouraging it to get stronger and to do it, it was holding longer and longer and increasing how high it was going up. So it started off at the 2, then moved to the 3, and I'm like egging it on to get stronger and go to the next light, and it would, and it was just like fluttering light and just keeping hold, and then it turned off.
But it was doing it for a while. I really wish we could have recorded that, just if I could have recorded the K2 reaction, it would have blown your mind, Beaker. Because the fact that it would not just, kind of spike here and there, but when Ghosty was encouraging it, like, come on, you try to get to red. Come on, you can do it. Get to red. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Go. And it was trying. It was really
You'll
trying.
hear it when you go through the audio and you hear it. You'll hear how long it was holding. Just with us with me encouraging it and saying
Is
that.
this one of the K2s that makes noise, or
No.
Okay.
No, but you'll hear us like talking to it, the spirit, and then once it's holding, we're saying what it's doing, so you'll be able to hear what exactly is going on and how long that is actually being held.
And then it would, it would go away with, hey, thanks for interacting with us, and then it'd come back again, and they were going off at the same time. The Ghost Meter Pro and the K2 were both would just blip at the exact same time, and that's when we knew something's here.
And then some of the other rooms we had
All
gone
the
into.
haunted shit he's got in there. There should be something there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of spirits there before he even brought all these other ones in.
Before you even bought the house.
Yeah. And then throughout the house, other places, we weren't getting much activity.
No.
And we were spending some of the time just kind of actually looking at some of the things.
Because me, I've never taken the tour, so I'm like, all right, let me kind of look at some of this stuff.
So did you see the Dybbuk Box?
Yes. So that is the other room that we got other activity in.
So let me talk about that. So when you, so this was for the back half of the house. So this was the second part of our investigation, and that was the first place we wanted to go. Another I think 3 people were in front of us, so they went in there first, and we kind of waited around and walked around while they investigated there. There's one of the employees. She was sitting in front of the door, so she was just making sure. So her job was just to make sure.
There's only a few people at a time in there.
Only a few people at a time, and that they don't spend too much time in there. She's like, hey, other people need to investigate. So if someone was in there too long,
I'm the
they would.
timekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. But they weren't needed for that. So we kind of explored around while they were in there. We went back. We wanted to get in that room pretty quick. So actually, do one of you want to explain what a Dybbuk Box is, and then what exactly this Dybbuk Box is?
So Dybbuk Box. So Dybbuk is a Jewish demon.
Demon.
Demon. Yes, I said it right, didn't I?
Devils.
Demon. Devils. So it's a Jewish entity. But in order to make a Dybbuk Box, an actual Dybbuk Box, there's like this whole like ritual that you've got to do, where you're like getting dirt from Israel and putting all of this stuff in there. There's a very specific way of creating an actual Dybbuk Box to get this demon attached to it, basically. And I know one of the last things you do is like seal it with red wax. I don't know if this particular Dybbuk box was like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen a Dybbuk box, not the Dybbuk box that they have there. I think you guys saw it too at the Paranormal Expo a couple of years ago up at when it was at the university. Our friend Jimmy actually had someone made the Dybbuk box and they did it right, and it scared them. So they literally contacted her and they're like, "Can you take this off my hands?"
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that was a Dybbuk box. Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because like she did have the Dybbuk box, and I still kind of had the feeling like her little haunted clown doll was the entity with that was worse than what was in the Dybbuk box. But yeah, there's this whole like ritual that you go through to get this Jewish demon basically, and then I'm not sure what it's supposed to do from there. But
well, it's just contain that devil.
That devil. So this particular Dybbuk box actually was the inspiration for the 2012 movie The Possession.
I was wondering about that. I was thinking that, and I was gonna say that earlier, but I wasn't sure, so I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah. This one, there's a whole history behind this one where like it went through the hands of several different people. I didn't do any research on that recently anyways. But like everyone that owned it had sort of all sorts of problems going on. And then eventually it like got to Zach, and now it's in his haunted museum.
And he did one of his Halloween specials. You know, usually their Halloween specials, they usually go to a location, and this one they did it at his museum. And the grand thing about it was that towards the end of the episode, they were going to open the Dybbuk box, but they were too scared and they never opened it during this Halloween special. And it airs actually live on Halloween, so this was a couple years
one
ago.
Thing that they should probably never open.
Well, I guess they did.
Later.
I guess Post Malone came over and him and Zach opened it together.
Post Malone.
I didn't see that, so I don't know
He's
exactly
from
what happened.
Utah.
Not
He's
from.
not-
He
he's not
currently
from.
lives.
He lives in Utah. He's
So
special.
when I
yeah.
went a few years back and I went into the Dybbuk box room, I could feel tons of energy coming from that thing. And that was a few years back before it was ever opened. And this time walking into it, it still had a lot of energy in that room. And what was crazy is when we first walked in there, after that first couple people walked out, we go walking in, and there was a REM pod. They set up a REM pod on top of the other Dybbuk box.
Yeah,
there's a second
there was a
Dybbuk box
second one in
in there. And they have a REM pod sitting on top of it. And as we were walking in, the REM pod was going off. And I was wondering if that was just us. Like, I wasn't paying much attention to it. I was like, no, that's just us walking in, setting it off. And then as we were doing things in there, it was not setting. It wasn't going off at all anymore. But then it made me wonder, oh shit, I wonder what was setting off the REM pod.
Yeah.
But when we were checking stuff out with the K2, we were only getting spikes on the K2 when it was in front of the Dybbuk box, because the Dybbuk box is surrounded by glass.
Yeah, so the Dybbuk box itself, and just so if you guys haven't seen it, the Dybbuk box, in my opinion, is like almost the shape of a jewelry box that opens from the front, like a door opening from the front. So the
Like
Dybbuk,
shutters, like a saloon doors, swinging doors.
Yeah.
French
So-
doors.
Yeah, there we go. So the Dybbuk box is like it's like a size of a jewelry box, like a good sized jewelry box. It's sitting on a wooden pillar, and it's about eye height, right? Like the height of like your eyesight. And actually, I just remembered. I don't know if you even saw this, Ghosty. On the pillar, on the edge of the pillar, there's salt.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So there was
The
salt all
ring.
around it, and then the Dybbuk box is in the center, and then around that pillar is another wooden and glass case. And the Ghosty was saying the K2 was going off, so I actually took my handy dandy little flashlight I got for my souvenir, and I was shining the light inside of the case because I'm trying to find what would set off a K2. Are there cables? Are there? I mean, that's basically what I was looking for. I was looking for any type of electricity or cables, and none. It was just glass and wood. That was it.
Yeah, so
that was it.
Glass case, Dybbuk box in the glass case, and then the glass case sitting on a wooden stand, and no electronics whatsoever on this thing. And as I'm running the K2 up and down it, The only time the K2 goes off is when it's around the glass, where it's actually seen, like in view of the Dybbuk box. And in that room,
And glass doesn't give off EMF, if I'm correct.
Right.
No, I don't think so.
And so,
Sand is very electric.
not getting any readings other than right in front of the glass. And then I start encouraging it to get stronger again, and it does. And,
It's doing the same thing it was doing down in the saloon room.
but this time it's going to red.
This time it's going to red. And it was holding red.
Yeah, and it would hold red because it would go up there, and when I would be getting in front of the glass, in front of the box, it would go to like halfway on the K2.
It would have blips and spikes.
Yeah,
so-
but it would only go about halfway. But then
more than usual, because again, the K2 will randomly just kind of spike, and you're like, oh, I wonder if something came in contact with the K2. You're like, can you come back? It's not, you don't get a lot of interaction with the K2, and this was consistently just kind of just spiking and spiking and spiking, going up to like the yellow and orange, and then again, ghosties started interacting with it like, hey, can you make it go red? Like, I bet you can. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. Let's get you to red. And it stops spiking once in a while, but it's trying to maintain and increase to the red.
it's doing that thing where it's like fluttering and getting stronger, and then another light, and then hitting red, and then shutting off.
We're like, thank you. Can you do it again? And it comes back and starts doing it again. Hey, great. Hey, you're doing it. Hey, can you try to get to red? So, Ghostie's just like encouraging it, and I'm trying to do the play-by-play on the voice recorder so you can kind of hear it. But I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible that it seemed like it was trying.
Well, it was interacting.
Yeah.
And what's weird about this is that it's not an actual spirit, like physically in the room with us. It's more like in that box reaching out. It was what's weird is that it's
Yeah.
able to still push energy outside of the box.
Yeah, that's really creepy when you say
Because
it
if you
like
think,
that.
yes. So, I mean, when I went into a few years ago before the box was even open, it was giving off a lot of energy. And I could feel that walking around it and being in that room, like, wow. But it is crazy going up to it with a device and seeing the energy and seeing that it can still interact with you, even though it's supposed to be trapped in there. Salt around it, it shouldn't be able to get past that salt, right? It is. It's getting past that. It's still able to manipulate things. I wouldn't say it can harm anything anymore. I think that part of it is still kind of maybe maintained of what's in the box.
Well, I think that's debatable.
But
if it can give
yeah,
it energy.
maybe that is debatable. But what's weird is that it can still manipulate and still interact while it's contained.
Yeah.
Strange, right?
Very.
How do you know it wasn't the spirit that was manipulating it before you did all that? That it didn't just follow you up there.
It is strange. Why would that just be in the glass section, though?
Yeah, like I said, when Ghosty would run the K2 down towards the wooden section, I mean, it would have some
Ghosts are
color to
smart.
it. But whenever we get back up to the glass, which is directly in front of the Dybbuk box, boom, we got.
Yeah,
we got,
I try to
some color.
debunk every time when
I'm just saying, maybe
devices.
a spirit was fucking with you.
Well, I'm not saying that can't be a situation.
Sure,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that it was strange that it was only going off in front of the glass, which was strange because that is the only section of where the Dybbuk box is. But
I get
if
what
there
you're
was
saying.
another spirit manipulating that could have been in there with us, it would be weird that it wouldn't be going off in other sections.
No, I get what you're saying. So what my theory or opinion on this is it may be contained behind the glass or whatever, but I mean, you've done this and I've done this where we throw our energy, like doing energy work, you're moving or pushing energy. And we're not physically moving. So maybe it's still contained, like behind this glass or behind this salt, but it's able to like project its energy past
That's what
that.
I'm saying. Yeah,
Where it's just the energy itself, where it's not physically, not that they're physical beings to begin with, but it's not, to make sense to people that are listening, it's not physically crossing the salt. It's just like throwing its energy.
I know what you mean. Like, so when I get my butt grabbed,
Yes.
that's a physical touch. It can't do a physical touch, is what you're saying. But
Yeah.
it can do energy touches.
It can do energy touches.
Then you're like, my butt's tingling instead of being squeezed.
Just a theory that maybe
Yeah,
it can
don't-
push its energy still past the glass, but it can't do anything beyond just pushing the energy.
That's what I'm wondering, but also kind of unknown at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
It's so kind of weird.
No,
weird.
I'm just trying to read your energy and trace it back to that, and that's just what I'm getting, is that it's able to.
Well, that's what I was saying at first too. Yeah, is that wondering if it's able to still manipulate things and push its energy, but not. Yeah, it's just.
I think more. I don't know if it can manipulate things like.
Well, I mean, manipulating the K2.
Well, the K2 is the same thing. You're pushing your energy, so the K2 is going to go off. So, I just meant like other things, like other physical things, like this. The K2 is designed to pick up energy, right? So yeah. So I guess in a way they're manipulating the K2, but I feel like it's like behind the glass, and it's still able to like just push its energy through the glass, but it can't actually like. Physically pass the barrier, I guess.
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say too.
But even with all of that, the fact that he could get that K2 to spike to red and hold it at red.
That's a lot of energy
That's
for
a lot of
something
energy.
contained.
Yes.
Okay, again.
Is it contained though? Is it?
I don't know.
Maybe when they opened it.
Maybe when they... Well, like I said, before it was ever opened, I was feeling a lot of energy in that room before. And the energy's still in there. And just being able to actually see it go to work with the K2 was pretty damn cool.
I wish I could have been there to see that.
Guess you should have then.
Yeah, you probably should have. It would have been real cool.
I
Since
had-
Zach personally invited us.
Yeah.
I had a previous engagement. I had other plans that I couldn't back out on.
Well,
If you're interested in the paranormal and you're heading down to Vegas, definitely check out this museum. Whether you take the tour or you do the flashlight tour after hours, very cool experience.
yeah, even if you're not a fan of Zach, because there's a lot of people that are in the paranormal that aren't a fan of Zach.
He's not there anyway.
Yeah, he's not going to be there. Don't worry about it. It's still really cool to go check it out and see all the exhibits.
Yeah,
He
there's
invited you personally and didn't show up? That's
He was on TV. He had other engagements too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was here in Salt Lake doing Salt Air. Not really.
He was getting some fresh salt for the Dybbuk Box
Yes.
from here in Salt Lake.
He had to travel for that. Yeah, just like he had to get sand in Jerusalem. He had to get salt from the Great Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's dedicated. But no, there's some cool stuff. Like I said, when we're kind of there for 45 minutes and you kind of not you're not feeling things out. I was checking out some of the exhibits and some of the stuff's pretty cool. I mean, speaking of our whole deep dive into the Conjuring movies, they actually had one of the chairs from was that from the Perron family? Or?
Yeah, from that house.
Yeah, from the house where the Perron family was, based from the Conjuring first movie. So they actually had a chair there, and they actually had a thermal camera on it. So I
Wait,
guess
no, that was from a different thing. That was from like a possession. I don't think that was from that house.
Did you
I
guys?
think it was.
So the group that we used to work with, a couple of them actually had spoons and like a tapestry from the Amityville house. I don't know if you guys ever saw those.
No,
No,
didn't even know
I
of
didn't
that.
see them, but I know of them.
I've held one of the shadow boxes with one of these spoons from the Amityville house in it. The energy on that thing was just that makes me not want to actually go to that house like ever. Like that's how bad the energy on these things were. But that was just the energy. There wasn't actually like spirits attached to them. So my wondering is, you got these museums of all these haunted artifacts. Like the Warrens had one. I know Zach Baggins has his in Vegas. John Zaffis has his barn full of haunted artifacts. What are the chances, do you think, that you take these artifacts and you put them in a museum like this that are haunted? Do you think that these spirits or entities are just going to be like, you know what? Yeah, this seems like a good place. I'm just going to chill here. What's stopping them from being like, I'm going to go somewhere else?
I don't think anything is, and I don't think there's a lot of spirits that Zach brought in there. I think a lot of these items just have energy attached to them, but not specifically ghosts. I think there's a lot of ghosts that are there before he got there. I think he did bring in some more spirits, but not like every single item has a spirit with it.
Well, I'm gonna go a little bit further and just say the Dybbuk Box specifically, because apparently
that's a spirit. That's gonna be a spirit.
So they opened that thing, right?
Yeah.
So how do they know for sure that they have this like contained behind this glass?
I don't know.
That's my thing.
Unless they brought somebody in, a rabbi or something.
I might have to. I think they had something on like the Google search I just did, but it's interesting to think, like, for example, like Annabelle as well. Like, it's behind a wooden box that says absolutely, positively, whatever, do not open. And it's been there since the 70s. They've had this locked up. What do you think the chances are that this like spirit is just going to be like, yeah, I'm fine being locked up in this box?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, how is it just stuck on that item like that to where it can't just walk away?
Right.
That's
not to say it doesn't like come back and visit that item, but
like there could be like energy attached to the item, but not necessarily like a spirit is attached to it. More of just the energy, and like I was saying, he probably brought in a few spirits, like the Dybbuk Box being the spirit trapped inside. I'm sure there was some spirits that were like attached to things that got sent over there and they went with it. But who's to say that they can't just be like, hey, this is pretty cool, I'm gonna go check out this casino.
Yeah, I'm just being like devil's advocate here. It's just like,
but I think there's just
I don't know for sure. Like,
already.
They could be stuck there. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't been there myself, but I mean, it's just like, if I was a spirit, and I was haunting an object and I got stuck in a museum, I don't know, like my personality, and maybe I'll be like, hey, there's some cool people here, I'm just going to chill with you guys. But what's to say that like they just can't get up and go?
Exactly.
Or go with one of the people that are visiting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that can happen. Can happen.
Exactly. So I think a lot of spirits probably are attracted to the energies coming from the house, and so wandering spirits might just be walking up in there.
Although I've dealt with haunted artifacts before, and they do tend to stick with the item that they're attached to. I'm just being facetious at this point.
But it is weird. Like, why would something want to stay connected to something and then getting it stuck behind the glass and it just being like okay with it? Be like, I like haunting people and I like causing ruckus, but here you got me stuck behind some glass. Like,
right?
Why? Walk out of it.
That's just a thought I've had, and I've had this discussion with Brandy before. But it's just like, yeah, why do you think that? I mean,
unless like there was something, it's weird. Because I remember the first time we were at Needful Things, and there was like a cooking pot that a spirit was attached to that was just standing there.
You remember how we found that, right?
Yeah, the K2.
The K2 and my thermal camera.
That was different colors.
Yeah.
My thermal camera, where we were in a room and everything was like 60 degrees because it was later at night, and it was not that warm in that room. It was kind of cold. But in my thermal camera, this thing was shining like bright red, and it was like 100 degrees on my thermal camera, where literally everything around it was 60 degrees. And then as soon as I pointed it out to you, Ghosty, it cooled down instantly. Like, I remember you and I watching it on the thermal camera go from bright red to blue like everything else in the room.
Shit, yeah. I almost forgot about that.
But yeah, there was a spirit attached to that. Mm-hmm. And it was the spirit attached to it when he was alive. He owned it. It was his item. So I've dealt with plenty of spirit attachments, and I've seen spirits wherever the item goes, it goes, and for whatever reason they stay with it.
But what was strange about that is that it was just like his fishing pot. Like,
it was like a kettle or something.
Yeah, something like that. And what was weird about it was that why would he want to be stuck to that and follow that when he most likely had family members?
Yeah, that's just weird. I don't know, but like I said, I was just being kind of facetious because we've seen it where we've personally witnessed it where spirits have stayed attached to an object for whatever reason, and they just follow it around.
It is so strange. Yeah,
I do know a friend of ours, Chris. I'm not going to say his last name, but he had his wife had an aunt that passed away, and she had this like portrait or painting or something that she wanted to go to a specific person when she passed away, and it didn't go there first. It went to somebody else, and that person was having all sorts of issues and activity in their home. It ended up Chris's house with him and his wife. And I remember, this is how I found out about it, because they started telling me, like, they had drawers literally flying out of their dresser across the room.
Wow.
Their dogs barking at nothing, just all sorts of weird experiences. And then I think they sent it to either somebody else, or they finally sent it to the person that the aunt wanted it to go to originally. And once it got to where it was supposed to have been, all activity stopped.
Well, why didn't it go to that person anyways in the first place? That's what I would have been mad about. Like, why you guys got to play keep away for so long?
Well, that's what I'm thinking is, like, maybe this pot was supposed to have gone somewhere. Like this pot that we encountered at Needful Things. Maybe it was supposed to have gone to a particular person, and it didn't. So this guy was, like, following around trying to make sure it goes where it needs to be. The other thing is like, we ended up Brandy
buying it and throwing it away.
No, Brandy ended up actually crossing that spirit over.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know. Maybe it could have been one of those things where he knew he was going to run into somebody that can help him for whatever reason. I don't know, but I have seen objects where the spirit follows it around for whatever reason, and just kind of sticks with it. And
the case of the traveling pot.
Yes. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about is, why would these spirits just chill?
Yeah.
I'm in this museum now. Hey, here I am. Come look at me.
Yeah. It is pretty strange when you think about it. Like, yeah.
Unless there's some kind of magic or something that's like binding them to the object and they can't leave it.
They're cursed.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of like in this movie Jungle Cruise that I watched today. There's
Jungle Cruise.
curses going on.
Yes. I haven't seen that yet. $30 on Disney Plus Premier Access.
But so at the end of it all at the museum, we had like 2 really good interactions. And
did you get touched?
No, I didn't.
On your butt?
No, I wanted to.
Touch free.
Well, that's because I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's probably why. But yeah, it was a short investigation, but it was still pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Very
Well,
much
it sounds
so.
like you had fun.
Very fun.
That's all we did.
Sorry I derailed the conversation about whether or not spirits follow.
That's a good
objects,
conversation. It's a great topic.
We should definitely sneak into a cemetery sometime soon and investigate.
Okay, I'm down for the butt touches. You know that's what I'm there for.
Murker's free. You don't really have to sneak in there.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed our adventure tales on the EVP podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.
Ghosty, don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
Adios, amigos.
This is the EVP Podcast.